Sorry for the delay. Thank you all for your conscientious comments. Here we go. State of SGA, November. Friends, comrades, fellow students, it is the end of October, and it has been quite the year. It was the 4th of July in July, and then we started school in August, and that's what we've been doing since then. This speech I'm going to give is about the state of SGA. I remember saying something about making sure you all had access to the right information about SGA, and so to be a man of my serious word, here it is. All right, so I want to start by thanking everyone who's tuning in live. We are live. And to those of you who are watching this later, to all of you, I'm equal parts glad that you have prioritized watching a YouTube link of me talking, and equal parts sad that you have nothing better to do with your time. So if you do, please go do it now. The first thing you need to know is that this speech has been read and approved by the higher-ups in the student life offices. To make sure that I don't use swear words or say anything inappropriate or something like that. Not that I would, but you may be wondering who the higher-ups in the student life division are, so I'll tell you. Okay, so student life programs itself is constituted of 5 divisions: SGA, Renova, SCAB, JS, and STING. And all of those things exist within the division student life, so student life divisions. Okay, hang with me. So Dan McDougall and Brian Burns are the head honchos in student life programs. Basically, they're in charge of everything in the SSC that isn't food, or career services, or Chucks, or the post office, or office of the registrar, or... Okay, the SSC is huge. But anyway, their boss is John Wood, who is the vice president of Student Life and Christian Ministries Division, which is a much larger sector of the school than just student life programs. But SGA operates within student life divisions within student life programs. So they all definitely read a version of this and said, yes, that's okay, you can do it live. Okay, now, you may be ready to have a conniption fit about the censoring of this speech. Well, here's some more news that you need to know about SGA. Everything we do in student life programs works through the hierarchy that I just mentioned. So constitutionally, all that we do is subject to the approval of the directors of student life programs, and then ultimately the vice president of student life and Christian ministry division. So everything from the philanthropy project to a leave has to go through those guys first. Now, you may be ready to have another conniption fit about the censoring of all that we're doing on SGA, but I want to tell you that you shouldn't. And here's why. These guys are not the big bad police of what we can do and what we cannot do, although sometimes they are, because there's a phenomenal difference between a man in his 30s and a man in his 20s. But really, the role of these guys is to make sure that we, as the students with limited time and experience in what we're doing, are able to make a meaningful contribution to Cedarville University, which helps us out. It gives us a sense of existential worth as we contribute to our place. So we, as sort of the lead dogs on the SGA sled, if you will, want to make sure that you guys correctly understand how the higher up system works. It's not to repress us. It's not to censor our voices at all. It's just to make sure that we're able to do the stuff that we do on campus, and also that we grow as Christian humans. Enough of that. That stuff is boring. What you probably want to know is, what has SGA been doing this year? In case you didn't know, or you were too busy or lazy to care, like me, the executive team on SGA has actually accomplished quite a bit. So Kat Meekum, she's the leadership director, She really got us rolling as far as what SGA did this year with an event called Explored, and it's for all the student organization chairs. And basically, they come and they learn about the new Cedarville student involvement software and pretty much how to be a good org. Excuse me. We kept the ball rolling with SGA Chapel. You guys all know Steve Clark, who's doing a phenomenal job, and Caleb Peterson and the SGA Worship Band. It's been a real pleasure to see everyone on Fridays or Mondays or whenever SGA has chapel. SGA Chapel we've been doing. Jill Willert and the events committee got Mission Impossible under their belt and the new Student Variety Show. Rahul Jacob and Campus Community got every student a note in their boxes for the creatively named Box Project. Melanie Idris and the Hype Committee got the first Tiger Club going, which is a chance for you all to directly give us feedback about the things we're doing on SGA. So we're looking forward to Tiger Club Part 2. But Class Council got roaring with freshman class elections, senior class chapel, and now junior class chapel has happened. And Patrick Holman and the Philanthropy Committee announced the 937 project, which is targeting poverty in Dayton. And that's something we're really excited about. So we've been to Target Dayton Ministries twice now, and it's a really, really great opportunity that I think you all should go to. Ryan Sanderson and Andrew Spencer are the media guys, and they're working to keep us accountable in terms of public media. And they've performed almost flawlessly, except for early on when we misspelled quarantine, but that was a team effort, and also this live event, but that was also a team effort. So those guys are doing really, really well. And then the last person you need to know about is Adam Wagner, and he's the guy sending you all the emails, which are worth a look. If you aren't reading those, take a look at them. We're really trying hard not to email you guys nonsense stuff, and Adam does a nice job at including a funny little picture at the bottom. So if anything else, right, look at that. Okay, except for Adam's last email, which was boring, but that is probably because he was a little bit stressed. Okay, let me advance this here. Okay, so, what's more? Kristen Hayes is the vice president of SGA, and myself, we have weekly meetings with John Wood, and in those meetings what we're doing is talking about what you, the students, are talking about. So I'll give you an example, and this is what you guys probably really are going to care about. We've hit two big things sort of in conversation with John this year. And those things are, number one, building hours. So I mentioned it in chapel, and John Wood actually approached us about building hours, and based on y'all's input, we were able to draft a new version of building hours and get that back to John. So John, just like the rest of us, is an extremely busy guy, so we can't expect things to change tomorrow. But know that Kristen Hayes primarily drafted a version of the building hours based on the stuff that you guys told us. And John Wood is looking over that now and collaborating with the divisions that will need to get that advanced. So thank you for your input on that. The number two thing we talked about with John is vacuums. Yes, indeed, we talked about vacuums. We talked a lot about vacuums, and that's actually the whole reason that I decided to do this, because we wanted to seek your human approval and let you know how much we talked about vacuums. We were all so bent out of shape about stinking vacuums, and we wanted to do something about it. And here's the thing, though. I wound up getting bent out of shape about vacuums because they are so darned expensive. An industrial vacuum is incredibly expensive. And so here's the deal. We tried to think of ways for the university to spend money on vacuums, but we just couldn't. You have to spend your own money on vacuums, okay? And I want to take a little second to correct a little bit of a misconception in my own brain that I was having. And I want you to come in and I want you to tell me you're wrong about this. I want you to debate me on this. Because I'm sure of this. The university's money is not our money, right? We say that a lot, but really that's something we don't quite think through. That's something I don't quite think through. I give my money to the university, and then they decide how to spend it. And honestly, I would not want that task of deciding how to spend my however much it is. I just give it to them, and then they give me things in return. And so all that to say, the university has chosen not to spend its money on vacuums, which is fair because they're phenomenally expensive. And here's an alternative. Okay, so I did a lot of research on vacuums. I read about vacuums for an hour, so I know a lot about them now, and I do have a recommendation. Okay, so if you're looking for a vacuum with your haul, for real, check out Dirt Devil stick models. Okay, I read about the different kinds of vacuums. There are 4 main kinds of vacuums. And I think a stick model will be the best option for accomplishing what you are going to be doing in your dorm. Okay, so they're cost efficient. They're about $40 for a good model. So go with the Dirt Devil stick. Just look through it on their website. There's several. Okay, check the specifications because it's gripping stuff. Okay, the last thing about those meetings is please know that it's a resource available to you. Right. We meet weekly with John for half an hour every Friday. We're in there. And we really, really do our best to bring up the things that you all are asking about, even if it's just to get answers to something that you're curious about, whether that's a policy, whether that's why aren't there more trash cans, or whether that's why am I still getting lake water on me. We can get those answers for you. Okay. So this leads us into the last section, which is what else are we trying to accomplish this year? That's important for you to know. You know what? We need to forget events and programs for just a little bit, right? We're way too busy. For goodness sakes, we're students, first of all. We've got too many friends, and we're doing too many little piddly activities. We don't have enough time to care about our studies, right? So you know what we're trying to do more of on SGA? We're just trying to flood you less with programs and events, and we're really trying to get down to forming a tighter knit community here. We're trying to build relationships with you guys. Okay, I know that sounds dorky, but I'm serious. And what you should know is I am grumpy some of the time. So I might not always be the best person to form a personal relationship with, but that's why all the other people here at the front of the sled on SGA are here. It's what they do. So if we form these relationships, then you guys will be able to see if SGA involves something that you're passionate about, and then you'll be able to perform that action more easily. And it's okay if it turns out that SGA doesn't perform a function that you're interested in. What we really want to be is a place where you feel like you can fit in and really be able to tap into an area that you're really interested in and maybe don't see another avenue for. So all that to say is take what you can get from us, come in, and we really want to try and form some more personal connections with you guys. We're always trying to think of new ways to engage your needs while still staying out of your business. But the thing we've come to realize about this is that a lot of it depends on you. So please don't be scared or apathetic or too busy for us. If you want to avail yourself to this resource, we're here and we're ready for you. So with all that in mind, personal relationships and what have you, put down your phone, right? Get off the internet, Go talk to someone about something that matters, for real. Talk to someone about something that you really care about. God help us all not to placate ourselves so much, right? Help us form those personal relationships with each other and be able to talk about things at this university that really matter to us. Okay, so 3 years of hard work, comrades, and I promise you that we too will become an industrial nation. I want to thank you again for all listening, and in the famous words of St. Nicholas, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.